The Brazilian Grand Prix delivered one of the most dramatic races of the season. Max Verstappen's charge from the pit lane to the podium had everyone talking, but while fans celebrated the spectacle, McLaren was asking a very different question. Does Red Bull's engine change break the rules? It's not about cheating in the traditional sense. It's about the cost cap. Formula One's financial regulations that are supposed to keep spending under control. And right now, McLaren wants answers from the FIA about whether Red Bull's decision to fit a brand new engine to Verstappen's car should count against their budget. Let's break down what happened in Brazil, why McLaren is raising questions, and what this could mean for the championship battle. The weekend started as a nightmare for Red Bull. For the first time since the 2006 Japanese Grand Prix, both Red Bull cars were knocked out in the first qualifying session. Verstappen, who had never failed to reach Q2 on pure pace alone in his entire Formula One career, found himself starting 16th on the grid. It was a disaster, and Red Bull knew they had to do something drastic. After qualifying, the team pulled Verstappen's car out of Parc Fermé. Red Bull decided it was worth it. They completely changed the car's setup, trying to find a better balance for race day, but they didn't stop there. Red Bull also fitted an entirely new Honda power unit to Verstappen's car. And when I say entirely new, I mean everything, the full package. Formula One regulations only allow 4 of each component per year. Going beyond that allocation normally triggers grid penalties. But since Verstappen was already starting from the pit lane because of the setup changes, the penalty didn't matter. Red Bull got a free performance upgrade without any additional punishment. So, how much did that new engine help? That's the million-dollar question. Or in this case, maybe the multi-million-dollar question. Verstappen was flying on Sunday. He carved through the field with pace that looked miles better than his qualifying performance. He passed car after car, fought his way onto the podium, and finished just 10 seconds behind race winner Lando Norris. It was a stunning recovery drive, but was it the engine? Or was it the setup changes? Or maybe the cooler temperatures on race day? Verstappen himself gave credit to everything working together. After the race, he said the car felt much more responsive. He mentioned the cooler temperatures might have helped. He talked about the setup feeling better, but he also acknowledged that the new engine played a role. Red Bull team boss Laurent Mekies was surprisingly honest about the whole thing. When asked about the engine change, he said it was a luxury choice after a painful Saturday. He admitted that Red Bull was on track to finish the season without needing a new engine at all. They didn't need it for reliability reasons. They just wanted the performance boost. It's always good to fit a new engine, Mekies told the media. We were on schedule to finish the year without needing the change. We just felt that we would take the opportunity mainly because we wanted to change the car again. That statement is important because it confirms this wasn't an emergency. It wasn't a reliability issue. It was a performance choice. And that's exactly what caught McLaren's attention. According to McLaren's understanding, there's a clear distinction. If a team has a genuine reliability issue and needs an emergency engine change, that shouldn't count against the cost cap. It wouldn't be fair to punish a team financially for something outside their control, especially if they're a customer team relying on an external engine supplier. But if a team voluntarily opts for an engine swap purely for performance reasons, that should fall under the cost cap. The thinking is simple. Having a cost implication stops teams from repeatedly throwing fresh engines into their cars just to gain a few tenths of a second. Stella made it clear that this understanding is exactly why McLaren wouldn't do what Red Bull did. This is also one reason why we wouldn't do it, he said, because it would end up in the cost cap. Here's the problem. This area of the regulations isn't clearly defined in the published rulebook. Instead, it falls under what's described as understandings between the teams and the FIA. These are guidelines that have been agreed upon behind closed doors, but they're not written down in black and white for everyone to see. That creates a gray area. And in Formula One, gray areas are where the most interesting battles happen. Red Bull's position seems to be that since Verstappen was already starting from the pit lane, taking a new engine made sense. They were going to lose track position anyway. So why not maximize the performance of the car for the race? From their perspective, it was smart strategy. McLaren's position is that the reason for the engine change matters. If it's for performance and not reliability, it should count toward the budget. Otherwise, what's stopping teams from gaming the system? What's preventing a team from taking a fresh engine at every race where they're already facing a penalty? The FIA has been contacted for clarification, but as of now, there's no official statement on how this specific case will be handled. And that uncertainty is exactly what Stella is trying to address. There's another layer to this story. How much performance does a new engine actually deliver in modern Formula One? Stella offered an interesting perspective on this. He pointed out that modern turbo hybrid engines don't degrade as much as they used to in the early years of these regulations.